Hey guys, Paul Morrow here for RobsDesk.org doing a big news recap for Wednesday, 18 June. Here we go. Story number one has to be the continuing conflict between Israel and Iran. Where's it going? Well, I see a subtle shift here. Could be something, could be nothing, but here we go. The Israelis took out the internal security headquarters in Tehran for Iranian internal security. That means likely to besiege and who are linked to the CEFC. What are they? They besiege are that religious police that really keep an eye on the population there. And I think that is an effort to begin to dismantle the aspects of the regime that really keep the population down there. Couple that with the fact that earlier today, the reporting is that someone hacked Iran's state media and put out messages saying, essentially, rise up against the regime. To me, that signals the idea that the Israelis are beginning to shift from simple offensive operations, I should say, into maybe an attempt at regime change. Now, if that's the case, I can hear people saying, well, what's Donald Trump waiting for? Drop the bunker busters and let's get on with it. Yeah, okay, maybe. But I think this is what he's waiting for. And again, I'm not seeing this commented upon. Donald Trump does not want any American casualties from the Middle East. He is on record saying that he wants to stay out of all the entanglements in the Middle East. And you can see he's being dragged into this one against his will. So he is likely, in my estimation, waiting till there is almost zero chance of American casualties from Iranian missiles fired at American assets in the Middle East, in various camps, in other nations, and even maybe ships at sea. He does not want a single American casualty here. One thing about Trump, he only moves when he's pretty sure of victory. And that is a bad narrative for him. He's promised that he wouldn't get tied up with this stuff, and he really doesn't want American casualties there. So I think he's waiting until the feeling is that the Iranian offensive capacity is sufficiently degraded that he can move without that risk, because politically that will be a disaster for him. And I think he just doesn't want it. The military loves him. The military finally is hitting your recruitment goals. It would be a bad move, and he very clearly doesn't want it. Story number two at the national or international level, I think, is again a story that's flying beneath the radar screen a little bit here in New York. Governor Cuomo, former Governor Cuomo, who is the odds-on favorite to be the next mayor, just had his Asian liaison resign, probably forced to resign, a guy named Larry He. Well, why does that matter? Because apparently, according to the New York Post and other reporting, he is heavily linked to the Chinese Communist Party. No vetting was done. He was the liaison. First, he started only a couple of years ago with Democratic Party, had a meteoric rise, and now he's Cuomo's Asian liaison. It just goes to the lack of seriousness on the left regarding matters like this. I refer back to Hillary Clinton's server in a bathroom in Denver. She was using it on her BlackBerry while she was in Russia, an unclassified, unprotected server. They just think this stuff is boys with toys. They don't take it seriously. Look at the record of other Democratic politicians who have been infiltrated by the Chinese Communist Party. You have, of course, Swalwell, sitting congressman who was sleeping with Fang Fang, Chinese asset. God knows what he divulged to her during Pillow Talk. You had Dianne Feinstein, former California senator. She had a Chinese spy as her driver for 20 years. And then, of course, you got Hunter Biden, who was doing business with CEFC, Chinese energy company heavily linked to the Chinese Communist Party and the leaders of China. He himself, that is Hunter himself, called the guy with whom he was looking to do business the head of China's effing spy agencies. They just don't get it, and they are soft targets for Chinese, Russians, and other assets. The right isn't perfect on this stuff, but they take it far more seriously. The left will overlook anything if they think it gets them where they want to go, and that's power. Real quick, last two stories. A man named Jackie Lodgson McCrae wanted for doing $800,000 in damage using Molotov cocktails to NYPD police cars. What a shock. He is an anti-Israel, pro-Palestine protester who was also wanted for vandalism at Columbia University. Guaranteed he's been arrested up there, and Alvin Bragg let him go. Take the money from the NGOs that fund these characters. And finally, I want to mention just something nobody's noticed about this silly Brad Lander performative thing where he got arrested with ICE. Disgusting that we dropped the charges. We should go all the way with this. But did you notice, how was it there were so many news cameras there? And not only that, why does this clown have an NYPD detail? Paul Morrow for the Ops Desk.